For days, they've been trying to break through. But police are standing firm. Lesbos has Europe's largest refugee camp, and Greek authorities are determined to stop a second wave of migrants from entering. There is also strong resistance to new arrivals from many of the island's longtime residents.
We, as locals, stand up against this. We want to make it clear to the local authorities, the parliament and the government that we will not accept any new migrants in the camp.
Some are taking drastic action to get their message across. A new unoccupied migrant shelter was set on fire on Tuesday. Right-wing extremists even blocked entry to migrants and humanitarian aid. During a visit to a Greek-Turkish border crossing, EU leaders announced 700 million euros in assistance. Still, Greece's prime minister called for more to be done.
Europe has not been up to the task of dealing with the migration crisis. I hope this crisis will serve as a wake-up call for everyone to assume their responsibilities.
But there are no signs of that at the border, where migrants are stuck in a no-man's land, unwanted by both sides.
Let's get more now from our correspondent, Yulia Han. She joins us from Turkey, just across the border from Greece. Hi there, Yulia. It's a developing situation where you are at the border. What's happening on the Turkish side?
Well, I'm at one of the main border crossing points between Turkey and Greece, and there have been some quite dramatic scenes further away from here at the border, where hundreds of migrants are still trying to cross into Greece, into EU territory. Now, we can't move any closer because Turkish soldiers have sealed this area off. They're not letting journalists in right now. But according to the reports we're getting, and we heard shots were fired earlier, Greek border guards have used tear gas again against refugees to keep them out. There are some reports that something had been fired from the Turkish side as well. It's a little chaotic, as I mentioned, and refugees in the area, refugees, migrants who've been trying to cross, they sent us journalists covering the situation, videos on WhatsApp with dramatic scenes, actually. The refugees are saying Greek border guards have fired at them. They say several people have been injured. And here on the Turkish side, we saw several ambulances pass. So people have been injured. The situation there remains very tense, it seems. Some dramatic scenes over there at the border.
Yulia, Turkey certainly now has the European Union's attention. Is it satisfied with the way that Brussels has responded so far?
No, I don't think so. I mean, President Erdogan's strategy, ramping up pressure on Europe by sending refugees towards the borders, it seems has not worked out so far, because EU leaders yesterday said they would stand by Greece, they would support Greece. They actually thanked Greece for protecting the borders, despite all the brutal methods Greek border guards have been using in recent days against migrants and refugees. A local governor, the local governor of this region here in Turkey, Edirne, was at the scene a little earlier. He accused Greek border guards of human rights violations, and he also said Turkey will keep its borders to Europe open, because he says Turkey already hosts so many refugees. It's at its limits and it can't take in any more. And that's the line of argumentation we hear from other Turkish officials. They say the EU is focusing on security and not on humanitarian issues, and they're turning a blind eye to the humanitarian situation, the crisis in Syria's Idlib, where hundreds of thousands of people are basically waiting and seeking security from Syrian regime bombings over there. And this is what Turkey has been warning about. So it remains to be seen if they're going to keep the pressure up or what's going to happen here in the next days at the border.
Yulia, we see there waiting behind you, we see men, we see women, we see children. What does all this chaos mean for the migrants and for the refugees that are trying to cross into the EU?
Well, many of them have been waiting here for about 6 days now. They came in the firm belief that this border would be open, but then they realized that's not true. People have camped here, stayed day and night, outside in the open, in the cold. Families with little children, they don't have enough to eat, enough to drink. They only have basically blankets to somehow, protect them against the elements. It's been very tough for them. We've also talked to migrants here who say they made it to Greece, were then detained by Greek border guards, beaten up. Their phones were being taken from them. Their money was being taken from them. They showed us the bruises they had from these beatings. And then they were sent back to Turkey, they told us. And now they don't have even the money to get a bus ticket back to Istanbul or the other places where they came from. Now we actually also see buses here in the area offering rides back to Istanbul for about 80 Turkish lira. That's 12 euros. So the situation is very uncertain. We see people are going back, but still there are at least hundreds of people still waiting here at this border crossing, trying to make it to the other side.
Okay, Julia Hahn there for us at the Turkish-Greek border. Thank you very much for your reporting.